Hi guys, just picking up this story with this character on Twitter, and I show you his Twitter account here, and this is the tweet that he took down where he poses with an 8:55 or a 9:11 clock, and then but we're going to go on to some other things, because in here I found, in this video, which I'm going to bring you right now, I found an association between his picture that he has of himself with his 7:11 clock. There it is. I hadn't written on that one, but that's a 7:11 clock I'm scanning past right there. And Clock Don't Offend No More, that has 920. It has 722 in the gematria. Well, not only is that a 7:11 clock, but it has two 11s up at the top. So really, it's a 22 7 o'clock, and that's okay. 22 by 7 is pi. He's just flashing a pi sign. But that's one of the findings that I made in this video that I want to bring to you. But we also need to talk about how fast he shaved his beard and got his picture taken with another 9/11 clock picture. You know, if this was an accidental 9/11 picture, that means that he took this picture. He went and got his shirt changed and his beard trimmed, and got back and took another beard picture within 15 minutes. So, you know, maybe he's like Flash, you know, when getting his beard trimmed. I'm not sure. Here he is with his 7:11 picture, and as we go on in this video, I will write on this, and you'll get a good chance to look at this, and you'll see what I mean by that. This is 22, 11, 11, and 7, so that's 22 by 7, which is pi, and why that matters. I don't know what it matters in terms of predictive programming for a false flag, but we're going to look at it more and figure this out together. I do want to point out that it's a little bit hard to see through this beard to know which is which. Now the 22/7 picture, again, he has the beard picture. So these could be two different characters, and they're all on the same Twitter account, or there could be some confusion about all of these people with all of these different codes on the clocks looking like one person, but they could be several people. So I just want to point that out also. So on with the video. Here we go. He took down a 9/11 sign and he put up another 9/11 clock sign. Now I would say that either is an unbelievable coincidence, but I don't think anything in the media is a coincidence, because I think it's all very carefully crafted. So what I'm going to actually say is that he is working with the media and the Freemasons, and this is actually anti-Muslim propaganda. So he's posing as a Muslim, but his sub message is anti-Muslim. Or you see what I'm saying? I don't think that's an accident. Okay, do you know what I mean by that he's an anti-Muslim agent? Now the other thing I want to point out, when I first saw this, I saw the 9/11, but I didn't realize how deeply it went. I'm going to show you some more clocks in a minute. One from MIT. But what I want to say is, when I first saw this, what I thought the message was, what I usually look at it as, I look for like the hypnotic drum beat message, and clock is 44. I'm looking for my pen here. Clock equals 44, and 44 equals kill. So what my first idea was, is if they're starting this movement where I stand with Ahmed, which I gematria'd too, but let me get through my first thought, that this is a negative drum beat to show with a Muslim face. So what I had thought is they designed this movement as a hostile, it's basically another anti-Muslim movement. It's a hostile subliminal programming against Muslims, because basically people are aware, you might not agree with me, but people are aware of the gematria of these words. Not so much that you can ask them about that, but say you sang a song to somebody about clocks for a while, or they were working on one, you would find that they would start to draw associations that have to do with the gematria 44. And basically the other esoteric associations of this are not good. It's basically the summary of it is kill. I don't want to write that on this person just in case he's an innocent person. I don't think he is. I think he's a media participator who is betraying other innocent people well, here's why I started to get concerned. Okay, so there's this other 9/11 one, and then here's his 7/11. And 7/11 is another aspect of 9/11 just because of building 7 and because of the 7/11 symmetry of the pyramids. But also this is another pi because this is a 22, and 22 by 7 is pi. You take 20, it's an approximation of pi, and I have a Back to the Books from Pi in the Alphabet by Marty Leeds, and I have a Back to the Books chapter on this where he shows that our alphabet is basically pi by 7 and pi by 7, and that equals the writing of the Tetragrammaton, which is Yahweh, which shows you that they worship this. And they not only do they worship pi, but they worship 2 pi's, pi by 7 and then pi by 7. And I show again and again that two zeros equals Venus, equals Isis. Now, I'm not saying Isis is connected with Muslims or even that Isis is bad or good, just that this is a Freemason this is a Freemason perspective. And so when we see 2 pi's, and the reason why I drew 2 here, there's only 1 on the clock, but the reason why that's 2, because we were talking about the alphabet, and the alphabet has the menorah way of decoding the alphabet, and I have a video about the menorah way of decoding the alphabet. Involves 2 pi's, and Yahweh is written as pi by 7, pi by 7. And then I just showed you in the very most recent videos about the Pope's visit that we see this number, we see this shape. First of all, it's in the Solomon's Temple area of the Washington Mall by the Capitol building, and I've pointed it out to you before, but if you go over there and look, it's right there. This always means Venus when you see it. It's on the very first money, the pieces of 8 have this. So many things have this. I think even modern money has this. But in Philadelphia, what I want to mention, since the Pope's visit is coming up, and since it's during these times that are being forecasted by these clocks, is that one of the times he's going to be near the mouthpiece of Isis, as I have drawn her in Philadelphia, and there's a freeway there, and there's a 33rd degree Mason number there, and there's also another 7, and the freeway goes out of her mouth, and the Pope's going to be there, and Isis represents the spoken word, apparently, to these people. Okay, jumping into this video, other tiny quick aside on this. So he's showing you the thumbs up sign. That's very universal, so we can't really say too much about that being just him. However, I'm in the process of decoding another Simpsons predictive episode in which Homer gets his thumb cut off. And then, so this is kind of poking out at me, so to speak, no pun intended. Well, I just want to point out that episode that I'm working on, it's the, and now I can't remember the episode name of it, but it's the 266th episode, which is the number in play right here. That's the same as the 9/11, because it's the 266th day, which is 9/23, which is equivalent to 9/11 from the Julian to the Gregorian calendar. But also, I'm starting to think that because all this has a lot to do with the Washington Monument, I was looking all over in this episode. In this episode of Simpsons that I want to bring to you, there's fire, there's explosions, there's missing body parts having to do with the thumb. And I'm just trying to make maybe that there's a connection between this thumb on this, that this guy's showing you right here, and the thumb being cut off, and the Washington Monument. It's kind of a wild theory. All right, well, anyway. Back with the main programming. So these are all the clues we need to put together to try to figure out what this story is about, what they are, what the under message is, what the hypnotic subliminal message is, and probably what the plan is. His shirt, LinkedIn, needs to be gematria, so we're going to do that. Okay, so LinkedIn, I'm going to go through a bunch of gematria having to do with these main phrases that are on the Twitter page and having to do with this whole movement and this whole story here. We're going to go through that page. Hopefully, I'm going to try not to get too long here, but LinkedIn, in short, equals Mahabone, which is a Freemason word. And I don't know a lot about this, but there's a lot more to know, and it's just a little bit, it's not a coincidence that that LinkedIn matches this. We have the 68 that we see again and again. These numbers aren't so much jumping out at me, so let's look at their esoteric. That was the Jewish gematria. So over down here we highlight the English and the simple gematria, which is an equivalent to Muhammad, Kennedy, Bethlehem, October. There are some 10s on these clocks, so we should probably keep that in mind. Robert, there's a Robert F. Kennedy connection with the Pope. I want to point out that his name, it matches in the Jewish gematria. It matches Allison, and this is Allison. This has an Allison Parker tie-in. 420 is Hitler's birthday. Akhenaten has an Obama tie-in. Many people will catch that with the Triple Crown and the American Pharaoh and all the numerology that ties all of those concepts together. In the English and the simple gematria of Gauguin's name, it matches Muslim, and I don't know how often that happens. Maybe that happens a lot. I'm not sure. So his other name is Urban Turban Guy, and I just feel like he is making fun of Muslims when he does this. This is kind of like an anti-Muslim type of thing, especially because his name matches World Trade Center. And maybe he just, wants to be in your face, or maybe he's not aware of the associations. I'm not sure. We have a lot of Jubilee year type of ideas here. This has to do with this coming September and the Book of Revelation, as if, the way that the Jewish calendar is stacking up here in this coming September. A lot of people are keeping an eye on this, and so we need to mention these associations. Okay, well, I think this is a really good point that I just found. So here he is shown with his 711. It's a double 11 clock, and I show it to you right here, right there. Show that to you, 711 clock. Now, if we take what he wrote, well, I'm having trouble clicking. Okay, here we go. If we take what he wrote, clock don't offend no more. It's almost like he understands the gematria, because look at what this equals. It equals a 22-7, which is pi by 7 again. Well, 227 is a little bit hard to look up in the simple gematria because it's such a large number that these associations get really long. However, I'm glad I scrolled all the way down here. We have a 23rd prime spelled out, the return of Christ. Lots of people are talking about something in September happening along those lines. We have the full name of a Rothschild, and we have, I saw some more things here. The pretty full name of a Kissinger, the Kissinger. I'd like to also point out that this pi by 22 number, I haven't really looked at this so closely before, but it does have a 9 and a 27 in it, and a 9 and a 22 in it. And the 9/22 is the day, well, of course it's Yom Kippur, and that has 144 gematria and lots of code tie-ins. But it's also the day that is 923 days from the election of the Pope in 3/13/13. So just to kind of, if we keep these dates in mind, we will start to see more symmetry between the dates. So I think that was pretty interesting that they brought in the 22 by pi, and that has the tetragrammaton tie-in. But I really want to show you the MIT tweet that has the 928 on it, and this MIT person's Twitter account and all the code that's on her Twitter account. So stay tuned. I hope you like this. We just got to figure this out together. The reason to figure this out is to stop the false flags. All right, talk to you soon.